Hello everyone. Thank you for joining. My name is Minikam Proman. I am a Director of Solution Engineering for API Security here at Akamai. What we are going to cover in this session is a POC guide that explains how to run Akamai API Security Pilot. This guide is used during the kickoff meeting with customers, following the pitch and demo, to walk them through the steps of the pilot. Let's begin. This presentation is provided to you as a template. Each time you set up a pilot with a customer, edit the details and use the customer name and logo. This slide shows the topics and agenda. Not everything is needed in every call. So if active testing is not part of this customer objective, you would like to edit the presentation accordingly. Moving forward to the timeline. From onboarding to adoption. In average, a pilot takes 30 days, and this is the pilot timeline. In the first stage, we meet with the customer, make a short introduction and demo. Then we make the kickoff call with the customer to explain to him what is going to happen. We understand which installation type the customer would like to have, on-prem, hybrid, or SaaS. In parallel, we also define success criteria and create the evaluation plan timeline, the one you see in front of you. So the pilot is running, and eventually at the end, we close the deal with the customer, moving him to production. You can look at this slide as two parts. On the left side, this is the design part, where we plan the pilot, then we run it, as you can see in executive evaluation, and when the pilot is over, we present the results to the customer. And this is the execution timeline. With the customer, we set up clear expectations when it comes to schedule. Next, we make sure customer has access to our knowledge base that contains important documentation it is important for him to know and be familiar with. It is very important that you as a partner, together with your customer, will have access to this place. It gives the information on the platform, showing it is not complex, you can be independent. Here, we are moving on to map the pilot stakeholders. Who are the people from the customer side, the partner side, and Akamai side that are involved in this project? You can use this slide if you find it more convenient. Moving on to objectives. We need to understand what does the customer would like to achieve from this pilot? What is he trying to solve? What are his pain points? What use case are we trying to solve? Discovery, security, regulation? We have the technical part, which is the use cases. In here, we present the customer with more use cases or ideas. Assuming that the customer does not know all the product capabilities, so we share what the product can do and the customer may not know about, and we can choose from there. We set up the scope of the integration. We always try to aim for the minimal pilot that will show the most value to the customer. Something like one integration, SaaS deployment, and a native connector. If needed, we may try to extend the pilot. It is not recommended, as we want to keep it simple. This is why it says here number of source integrations between 1 and 3. The pilot can start with native connector, but the customers do not send all the traffic that are needed for the solution to work, only a fraction of it. Therefore, we add 1 or 2 more integrations to show the customer he can get better visibility. In this slide, we talk on the evaluation criteria in more details. You can ask, what is the difference between evaluation criteria and objectives? It is very similar, but in objectives, we talk on the impact on the organization without API security and success criteria actually measure our product. So first, we define together with the customer what are the use cases we are going to solve together, and then we check with the customer for his satisfaction. Another way to look at it is, in objectives, customer says, if I will not solve this problem, within a month, regulation might fine me, and the impact on my company will be this and that. So business-wise, why the customer even want to consult us as Akamai? The partner who talks to the customer should try find out the objectives and also the success criteria. So the objectives are the why, and the success criteria are the how. Examples are: customer would like to solve discovery. Success criteria can be customer does not see all his APIs. Now the question can be, how do we show the customer we succeed? How do we tell the customer at the end of the pilot that we gave him a better discovery for his APIs? Or maybe identify traffic anomalies, identify attacks and incidents. It sounds abstract, so it is worth to dive deep into this with the customer and ensure you have a criteria that can be measured. Another example can be data classification. We can tell the customer we will identify all his emails or all his credit cards. And then we ask, will that be considered that we have managed to automatically identify your APIs? If the answer for this is yes, great, we will add this as a success criteria of the pilot. Similarly, we can say the same for active testing, so check the code before push to production. This is dependent on the customer use case and the customer API maturity. Eventually, when you're sitting with the customer, you need to identify what is his pain points, what is important to him to achieve. During a pilot, you, as a partner and as a trusted advisor, should find between 3 to 5 success criteria with the customer. This presentation is full of success criteria examples where you can copy and paste to a new document together with the customer. Another example is Recon. Recon is a tool that we provided with URL of the organization from outside. We call it TLDR. With the help of non-intrusive external tools, we are scanning the customer domains to identify his API footprint towards the internet. Then, we can identify APIs that the customer might not know about or subdomains he is unaware of. Elements that are exposed from the internet. Many times, during the pilot, customers suddenly discover APIs they were not familiar with, like zombie APIs and shadow APIs. This is critical because this is what attackers are looking for. We want to emphasize that Recon is also an option. We run Recon in almost all running pilots, and this is important as there are 2 smoking gun challenges during a pilot. People may say that there might be some forgotten API that customer did not know about, or trying to scan their network from outside to identify shadow or zombie or exposed API and so on. The reality is that in most cases we do not find such things, but Recon gives another dimension and also more confidence to the customer that someone had scanned him from outside and did not find anything, so his situation is better. Therefore, we recommend to use Recon in every pilot. This slide explains why the data is so important and what are the traffic requirements. Customers may say that we can run a pilot in a lab environment. The problem in small lab environments is that there is not enough traffic volume. Because of this, the machine learning capability is very low. This is why we added the last bullet. This is to set clear expectation with the customer. In order for the solution to be able to identify runtime alerts or advanced attacks, we need at least dozens of APIs and hundreds of users producing thousands of API calls on a daily basis. More traffic volume means better machine learning capabilities. Moving on to architecture. The pre-sales engineer who makes the call with the customer is changing this slide per customer, according to the installation type the customer choose. Where are we going to deploy the solution? We have some examples that show different architecture, like SaaS, hybrid, and on-prem. This is a SaaS architecture. This is a hybrid architecture. And this is an on-prem architecture. Moving on to the deployment and configuration. Once decided the installation type, the pre-sales engineer will change this template in this slide to fit the customer real architecture. Seeing this, it helps us to explain the customer the elements that communicates and where we get the data from. The pre-sales engineers ask the customer, "Tell me how your APIs look like. Where are they coming from? Tell me about your API gateway." And the customer reply. You can start drawing this like you see in this example, or you can use what you already have here in the slide if this suits customer environment. If we tell the customer that we need to deploy a remote engine to get the data from a source, the customer will ask, "What should I prepare from my end?" In the installation configuration slide is high level, so we added a link to the docs, and inside the user guide, there is a lot more information which is always up to date. So you need to prepare for the call. You as a partner pre-sale, if you already know the customer environment, and you know he has, for example, Kong and API gateway, you can prepare this presentation in advance with the right slides. Akamai expect from the partner to use these slides and assemble the right presentation for the customer. Same here, in the workflow integration response, if customer would like to set this integration, we added a link to the documentation so you will be better prepared. You can use this as an example if someone is attacking you and you would like to update the SOC team. This is the right tool for you. Next, we move to active testing. Customer may choose to activate active testing if it is part of his objectives. We explain the customer what is an active testing, how it works, and share a link how to read more on this. This slide explains how we deploy it in the developer side. And the end of the POC, the pre-sales engineer share the results with the customer. We added some example here in the last 3 slides. The first slide is the objectives we agreed with the customer at the beginning of the pilot. Here, we show a table with all the success criteria, what we delivered, and the findings. You can see the numbers here. You may also add a screenshot from the customer dashboard with his data. It is more reliable. Thank you for watching this session. We hope you found this session beneficial and learned how Akamai deliver a POC. What are the pilot steps, and what are the expectations from you as a partner? Use this presentation as a tool to help you be prepared in your customer calls. Akamai pre-sales engineers are here to assist in any question you might have. Good luck.